What's good, party people? This is According to Woods, and I have the honor and privilege of talking a mixed martial artist who has recently fought for Shamrock FC. He's the one and only Josh Reed. Josh, how are you doing, my man?
I'm fine. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. Thank you for joining us here at According to Woods. Man, so talk to me. I mean, there's a better way. I mean, there's better ways and safer ways to earn a living. How did you get involved in combat sports?
I got involved in combat sports in 2000. A friend of mine happened to say that he was looking for a fighter for a fight, and I haven't done it before at this point in time. So I decided, well, hell, I like to fight. Might as well step up. And mind you, my first fight was on probably about 4 hours' notice, and I fought a guy by the name of John Swanberg. Uh, didn't know anything about him going into it, but found out after the fact that he kicked my ass, um, that he had been undefeated for 4 years going into it. So that was, mind you, that was back when it was unsanctioned. So
Wow, and 4 hours notice, that's a crazy kind of predicament to be in. So, I mean, prior to, you getting the call, like had you heard of, MMA? Well, I mean, in 2000 it wasn't even MMA. It was, no holds barred or just UFC, right?
I
So, had you heard
at
of
that
it?
point in time, yeah, yeah, I had heard of it, but I hadn't been watching it or anything like that. I just heard of it from a couple of friends and groups that I had been around at the time. And when this person asked me if I wanted to do it, I was like, sure, why not? Sounds like fun.
Now, what did you learn after that, like first fight? Because I mean, on 4 hours notice, like there isn't too much that you could expect, kind of going into it, But like, what did you learn about yourself, or what the concept was, after that first one?
I learned about myself after that I could take one hell of a punch and I got a steel jaw because he threw everything he had at me and wasn't able to knock me out.
That's amazing. So, I mean, di at that point, did you kind of like, oh, I want to do this again, and maybe I should join a
Yeah,
gym, or
yeah.
that was it?
I wanted I wanted to do it again after that. I was hooked after that.
And what
Uh,
what was it about it? Like, was it like the actual, put up or shut up aspect of it? Like, what was
yeah,
it?
yeah. It was the put up shut up aspect of it that I mean I can use this as outlet for at at that point in time I had a really bad temper, so I used it as an outlet for that, and I like to fight.
Well, I love that because you're saying, like, you had a bad temper, right? And most people, you know, don't realize, especially people that are on the outside of the community, how much combat sports will actually calm people down. Because like, if you go through a hard sparring session, or grappling session, where you're literally surviving for 6 minute increments for 2 hour class, if somebody cuts you off on the road, you're like, man, I cheated death like 8 times over in class. So, like, go ahead, pass me. I don't care.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it helps with a lot of temper issues that I've had in the past, and get the social anxiety I used to have really bad, and I don't as bad as I normally did at that point in time. So it's gotten me over that a little bit. And
Now,
with Shamrock Fight Championships, when I fought for them, the fight that I did fight for them, Uh, I was nervous as hell for that fight because I knew coming in it that the guy was a good wrestler, and I'm not really exactly a wrestler. I rather stand and bang.
Now, I mean, in terms of trying to get back into it, was that a process of like, going and seeking out a gym or anything like that? And hey guys, this is According to Woods here, and if you guys haven't already done so, consider hitting that subscribe button and sharing with a friend because try to bring you awesome content. And so I was saying, Josh, what at what point did you were you like, oh, let me try and join a gym, and do this, a little bit more consistently? And what gyms were there?
Well, throughout the time that I've been doing this, which has been a long time, I've never really joined a gym. I have trained with like friends of mine that have you know participate in gyms and that sort of thing. That was never my type of thing. I did, however, uh, do a couple training sessions with Savage MMA out of Fort Dodge, Iowa. That was a great experience. He worked me over pretty good. Um, I don't know. I just enjoy the whole concept of the combat sports.
No, 100%. And Jesse Velasquez, who's a IFS champion out here in California, he's saying, the always down to fight style. I like it, So shout out to you for the mentality, and to Jesse.
That's definitely my type of style. I won't back down from any fight. My concept of that is, you're a man. You bleed the same blood as me. Why be scared?
Yeah. Now, in terms of because you have been doing it quite a while, what have been some of your favorite memories or moments? Pre-fight, like through the whole process. What has been some of your favorite moments?
You know, I'd have to say my favorite moment, honestly, even though I got beat, was when I fought for Shamrock Fight Championships. Uh, their promotion is an excellent promotion. They don't screw around. It's straight, clean cut into the point.
Now, I mean, obviously, I mean, a decade. We're looking because we're here in 2020. A decade in the sport, and I mean, you've seen a lot of changes. A lot of people come and go. But what do you think about like the current day, kind of presentation of MMA, especially as it relates to, UFC and Bellator? I mean, they're a long way from. I mean, Bellator wasn't even around in 2000, and I mean, the UFC was on the brink of bankruptcy, right? So, um, someone who kind of was there almost from the very beginning, at least at the halfway point, as it relates to the UFC. Um, or like, what do you make of now they're on ESPN and Paramount Network or One Championship, and there's a good MMA gym or promotion anywhere in the world,
I honestly think that they've came a long way with how they've ran things. I mean, at the beginning when UFC first started, that was what, 1991 or
Yeah.
93, one of those years. They've came a long way since then with how they run their promotion, because back then they had it set up as a tournament style base, weight divisions weren't a thing. You didn't have to wear gloves if you didn't want to. You didn't have to have your hands wrapped if you didn't want to. Granted, I never fought for him or anything like that. I would have loved to, but it's changed since then because, well, back then, hell, he was also able to wear shoes in the cage. Like, for example, now you're not able to. I guess they learned from cause and error from injury. And Bellator, that from what I've seen and from what I've heard about them, is also a great promotion with the things that they've been doing. I mean, they've kind of followed along with uh, where the UFC's turning point was and pickup point was. So, I mean, that's always a great thing to do and follow along with.
No, 100%. I mean, it's crazy. I think it, and I'm not just saying this because, kind of involved in the sport, but I don't think in anybody's lifetime there has been such a rapid revolution in terms of sports, as is MMA, right? Because, we're looking at almost 30 years, right? But from being
Just
banned
about.
a lot of places to being on ESPN and mainstream TV and getting coverage. I mean, it took baseball, decades. It took football decades. It took hockey decades. I mean, if not 100 and some odd years. And what MMA has done in just 30, it's remarkable.
Well, but then again, too, you got to give the fans what they want to see. And combat sports, gladiator type sports like that, to show which one has the heart in the fight is what they want to see. They want to see the show, regardless if there's blood or not. They just want to see an outcome on either way. I mean, from what my experience, they rather see a longer fight, back and forth fight, than a quick 6, 8 second KO or tap out.
No, that makes perfect sense because and you will hear that a lot from fighters that when they get those flash knockouts or submissions, but more so like the knockouts, right? They often say like, oh man, I had so much more to give. I've been training the old for all 3 rounds, to go the distance and everything like that. You guys didn't see the best of me, the best of my training camp, the best of my skills, because it's just that thing that connects. And yes, it's a success in many respects, but like the totality of everything that you put in, like most people wanted to give more.
I don't know. I guess it all depends on the fight. I mean, my quickest fight was 26 seconds. My longest fight's been over 15 minutes. But that comes with the sport. I mean, you every time you step in the cage, regardless who you're fighting, there's always going to be a nervousness or a fear, but you could either let the fear or the nervousness consume you, or you can use it in your advantage to overcome the circumstances, I guess you would say.
No, 100%. It all depends on the person that basically parlays their craft, and Jesse's saying, yeah, oh for sure, make it worth it for the fans. But as a fighter, I he particularly likes the fight short because you don't get paid for the hour, right? By the
Yeah,
hour.
yeah, I definitely would agree with him. I like to keep them short too, but sometimes it don't always work out that way. Um, I'd say my hardest fight up to date, honestly, was, well, actually, it really ain't up to date, but my hardest fight had to been either Kings or Nick Myers and both of those guys are out of Fort Dodge, Iowa. Neither one of them fight no more, but they both beat me, and they were in their time when they fought extremely good fighters, and it was a brutal war with both of them. But um, I learned to guard my head with both of them and stay off the ground actually with Nick because he took me to the ground and that was no place to be with him. But I've always enjoyed it ever since I first started doing it.
No, man, it's a feeling like no other. I could only imagine, you know. But dude, I mean, you've been in the game, you know, for a decade now, you know, and there's got to be, you know, a strong support system that you've had to kind of, you know, let you live your dream. All right. So let's get some shout outs out of the way, you know, people that have supported you.
Definitely shout out to my wife Misty. She's been by my side now for the last 9 years. We've been married for 5, but we've been together for 9, and she supported me the entire way. Um, Nick Myers, he's you know told me never give up. So is Tony Hennings. To Savage MMA, they've helped me with training, and a buddy of mine, Jason Fox. He's always had my back. I just ran into him yesterday after not seeing him for just about 12 years, and told him about the upcoming fight that I have, and he said he's going to be there. Our Me and Misty's beautiful 14-year-old daughter, she's been by my side, since she's been around, and although she's never been able to see one of my fights, I know that she would like to, and I wish she could. Um, Mike Estes and Monty Cox for giving me the damn opportunity to take this fight. Rick Tassler also, he's been a major influence on my MMA career. He was one of the first promoters that I ever fought for. So, I mean, shout out to every one of those people that I just named. I couldn't have done this without them. That's for damn sure.
Absolutely. You know, it takes a village, right? And a huge happy birthday to Misty. She just had a birthday, so shout out to Misty. But for those who haven't already done so, where can they find you on social media, my man?
What's that?
Where can they find you on social media?
Uh, my Facebook page is Josh Reed. Uh, it has the profile picture is actually uh, is my poster from when I fought for Shamrock Fight Championships back in February.
Dang right. I mean, it's a really easy way to find you, my man. You're not hard to find, and thank you for taking the time out of your day to do this. But this has been According to Woods with the one and
No
only
problem.
Josh Reed, and we
Thanks.
are out. Thank you, guys.